As you already know that today's discussion is part of the ongoing project jointly headed by ILSR and Ambedkar Center, Gaur College. Let me very briefly introduce to you the project so that we can, in a way, provide the kind of background for today's discussion. The objective of the project is twofold. That is to locate and disseminate the minor intellectual traditions or epistemes or discursive practices from Bengal that usually remain outside or resist the normative elite academic zones and spheres of influence. So the twofold purpose, to locate and to disseminate. But why this project now, and how we plan to go ahead with the project? Karl Marx once said in the German ideology, the ruling ideas of a given epoch are the ideas of the ruling class. And these ruling ideas actually disseminated through media, literature, and other mediums establish the intellectual and cultural leadership of the ruling class, thereby establishing their hegemony. Now, if we look at the Bengal cultural and intellectual landscape, we will see that there are two facts that come to our mind. One is the dominance of Calcutta. Calcutta centricity is there very much, and when we talk about Bengali intellectual landscape, then there is the dominance of sometimes what is called the Bhadralok class. So when we talk about the Bengal Renaissance, we we talk about Ram Mohan, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar and others. But there are other figures. For example, Abdul Wadud, we hardly talk about him. Okay, we talk about Ishwar Chandra Banerjee for his contribution in disseminating education in Bengal, but we forget the contribution of Guru Chand, who perhaps built more schools than Ishwar Chandra Banerjee. So, keeping that in mind, the project tries to address the epistemic injustice. We are talking about decoloniality today. When we talk about decoloniality, we are not talking about the Indian epistemes vis-a-vis the Eurocentric dominance of Eurocentric epistemes. Rather, we want to focus inward and highlight the inequalities that are there within the post-colony, what is sometimes called the post-colony. So addressing this epistemic injustice, is the focus of this project. Our objective is to widen, to democratize, to pluralize the intellectual horizon of Bengal. This is very important because we need to recognize that the people living at the margin, in terms of space, in terms of class, caste, and religion, they also are producers of knowledge. They are actors, actively producing discourses and epistemes. And this is the high time that we recognize their contribution as the creator of knowledge. There is, in a way, an attempt to provincialize Kolkata, to borrow the very famous phrase used by Dipesh Chakraborty, provincializing Europe, because we are talking about looking inward. The hierarchies, the inequalities that are there in the post-colony. So, and we want to focus outside the dominant social group or spheres of influence. Not only that, we also try to province world, the epistemes, ideas that are generated by people living outside the elite domains, outside Kolkata, and disseminate those ideas. So in a way, province worlding those ideas. So these are the two interrelated objectives with which we began our project. And please go to the next slide. These are the areas that the project wants to highlight. We focus on the indigenous epistemes from Bengal, the Buddhist, Jaina, and Prakrit knowledge traditions and cultural contributions. Tantra is there, Nathism is there, Rar Bangla and its obscure epistemes. Then we have the Sahojia tradition, Sufi traditions of Bengal and their continuous relevance, the Lokayata traditions. And also in Bengal, we have a robust interfaith dialogue, a culture of interfaith dialogue that started long back. We can go back to the medieval period, and how we can see how there were interactions between the Sufis and the local, yogic traditions. There is a text called the Yoga Calendar, where a Sufi is talking about salvation or liberation, but when he is talking about Sufi path, he is incorporating the yogic practices. So these this interactions and interfaith dialogues that are very, very relevant today, I think, and this is where those knowledge traditions can contribute today, and our objective is to bring back those traditions into discussion. Then, as I have already said, that there is a lack of focus on the Bengali Muslim intellectual tradition. When we talk about the Bengal Renaissance, we focus primarily on the Bhadralok intellectuals. We may refer to a book that is titled The Bengali Intellectual Tradition, that is published from K.P. Bagchi. And if you flip through the pages of the book, you will see that there are, as predictably and perhaps quite justifiably, mention of the big figures of the Bengal Renaissance, but there is hardly any mention of Udud and others, not even Dalit intellectual, forget about any Adivasi intellectual. So we want to focus on the Sikha group, people like Abdul Hussain, Abul Kalam Azad, and the rationalist tradition coming out from the Bengali Muslims. And of course, when we talk about Bengal, we cannot perhaps forget about Nazrul. So we will be focusing on Nazrul and his milieu and the minor literatures from Bengal. Then we will be focusing also on the Adivasis of Bengal, the provincial epistemes and Anthropocene. We know that the Adivasis, perhaps they provide a way out of the current crisis of Anthropocene, because they live in close to nature, they protect nature, and their way of living is inbuilt in a way that looks after nature. So maybe those traditions, those knowledge traditions can help us today, and we will be talking about that. And Adivasi literary and cultural heritage, that is also another focus. Then we will be talking about the Dalits of Bengal and their intellectual tradition, as well as Dalit literature. Dalit literature is already talked about these days. We want to take that discussion further. So these are the various facets of the project that we think of taking up. So this is the modus operandi. As you can see that this is a collective project, and this cannot be done by 2-3 people, and we need help and suggestions, feedback from anybody and everybody. And so the modus operandi can be divided into 2-3 segments. The first segment is how to form the discourses. I mean, to organize workshops, seminars, and talks where we can, we can, think of, how to proceed And then we cannot only talk about theory. We need also to ground our research. So we need to locate the microtexts from the various districts of Bengal, and we have already done that. We have appointed research fellows from various districts of West Bengal, and they are collecting various texts, and they are interviewing, talk, and having discussion with local actors and publishers. And the next leg of the project is the dissemination part, where we aim to build up an archive, hopefully a digital archive. We will also be translating texts, and we will publish those texts. This is the way we try to bring the minor discourses and intellectual practices into the public domain and into greater discussion. So this is the project, and kindly allow me 2-3 more minutes to talk about what we have already done. You can see on the left side there is the poster for the first seminar, Minor Intellectual Traditions, Thoughts from Bengal, and we had distinguished speakers. We had Krishna Priya Das Gupta, who is a renowned author of Bengali Hindu Rasul Chorcha, Bengali Musulmaner Kali Chorcha, and many others. And when he was here, from him we get to know about a very, very, very important text, Ali Babar. What is the text, madam? I have this feeling, I'm sorry.
Gyan Shagur.
Gyan Shagur. Yeah, that is a very, very important text from medieval Bengal, and we got to know about this text from him, and we are working on that. We also had with us Professor Tony K. Stewart, and he talked about the minor intellectual traditions, mainly coming from the Sundarban areas of Bengal. And of course, we had with us Professor Daniel Roycroft. He is already here again with us. And the next seminar we organized. Next slide. Yeah. So the second seminar of the project was organized by my college in Malda, because we also wanted to move out of Kolkata. So we organized it in Malda district, and we had with us distinguished speakers again, Professor June McDaniel, Krishna Priya Bhattacharya. We had Ipsita Haldar from Jadavpur University, who focused on Maulana Akram Khan. Then we had with us Niharul Islam, who is a Bengali fiction writer from Murshidabad district, and we had with us two scholars, Alekho Mondol and Matthew Mukherjee, who are with us here. They focused on Anagoric Dharmapala, which is part of their current project. Interestingly, we had a round table on provincial publishing houses from Malda district. So we invited two publishers from Malda district, as well as one bookseller, and practicing journalists from Malda districts, and we had discussion with them what are the challenges they are having and what are the opportunities for those provincial publishing houses there, and how that is connected to the larger objective of our project. So far we have organized 2 seminars, and we have appointed research scholars. They are collecting texts from the quote-unquote marginalized areas, and so far we have done this, and with the knowledge and feedback that we'll be gathering from you and others, we will be proceeding further.